So last year, our wholesale real estate business did just over $650,000 in revenue, aka profit actually for wholesale real estate businesses. And believe it or not, a lot of those deals were done completely virtually. I'm talking finding the leads, talking to sellers, closing out the deals. We did this without ever seeing the properties. In this video, I'm going to give you a complete step-by-step guide for virtual wholesale real estate in 2025. I'm talking everything from picking your virtual market, the exact tools that you need, how to analyze properties that you've never seen, and most importantly, how to get sellers to trust you even if you're not local. And the best part is, if it came down to it, you can do all of this from just your cell phone. I've had students close deals from their college dorms, their parents' basements, or even while they were traveling around the world. So whether you're in a market that's too expensive to wholesale in, or you simply just want to do deals from anywhere in the world, this is your complete roadmap in 2025. Step 1, picking your virtual market. This part is super simple. Don't overcomplicate it. All you need to do is find a county that has a population size of 500,000 or more. And the other thing that I want you to look for is for the median home price to be around $250,000. That is really all you need to be looking out for in order to pick a virtual market. Now, as a bonus, if you want to find very, very good areas to be wholesaling in, you can also be looking in areas that are high in crime or low in income. You can use crimegrade.org or even affordablehousing.com in order to find those, little hidden bonuses as well. I know what you're thinking. High in crime, why would you want to pick an area that's high in crime? Who's buying properties in those areas? Well, believe it or not, if there's money to be made somewhere, you best believe that investors are going to be buying in that area. Now, there's only 3 red flags that I want you to look out for when picking your market. The first thing is a very high priced area. Your chances of getting one of those for a wholesale deal are very slim, so I want you to avoid very high priced areas. Like, you're not going to wholesale a property in Beverly Hills. The second thing is if the median home price is too low. So I want you to avoid any market where the median home price is below $150,000. And then lastly, low populated areas. The 3 red flags really tie into the 3 things that I want you to look out for when picking a market. I just want to preface that you do not want to go into those areas or even consider going against the grain of anything that I just recommended. Now that you've picked a virtual market to start wholesaling in, let's talk about the tools and the softwares that you need. The only tool and software that you're going to need to do all of this is DealMachine. DealMachine is only $119 per month. It offers free skip tracing, list building features. They have a power dialer. You can research all the property data in America. You're able to acquire all of the owner contact information. They have a built-in phone system. It's basically a CRM to keep everything organized so no deals slip through the cracks. They have AI assistants so you can ask questions regarding anything and be able to get your answer like this and not have to wait for some person overseas to be in the little chat box in the right corner. The list goes on and on and on when it comes to DealMachine, but that is the only tool that you're going to need in order to really get this going. Now, the other software that you are going to need once you are going to be sending contracts virtually is DocuSign. I recommend also using DocHub in order to write up your contracts, and then I recommend having DocuSign in order to send these contracts virtually to get them executed virtually. Now, while you're signing up for DealMachine, be sure to use promo code CAM so they can give you a 7-day free trial so you can test everything out for completely free. So if you don't have the $119 a month in order to get going with this, you have zero excuse now. Get this going now and start 7 days for free. Now let's go on to step 3, building your virtual team. There are some cases where you do need some boots on ground. Here's who you're gonna wanna connect with. Number 1, a local realtor, specifically a realtor who deals with investors primarily. Outside of that, this is gonna be the person that's gonna be able to, access the property if it's needed and, walk the buyers through the property to sell the deal. And who knows, they might even have buyers ready to go for your deals as well. So you're gonna wanna find a realtor that you can work with. And again, you just wanna offer them 3 to 6% of the total sale price. That is their typical commission on any real estate transaction anyways. The second person that you're gonna want on your virtual team to get virtual wholesale deals done is going to be a local title company. For those that don't know what a title company is, in order to buy a house, in order to sell a house, in order to complete the transaction, they need to be done at a title company. They're going to be the ones that are researching what's owed on the property, making sure everybody's getting paid back for whatever involuntary or voluntary liens are on the property itself. All in all, they are ensuring that the deal can get closed. And the third type of person that you're gonna need on your virtual team is gonna be cash buyers. Now, these are gonna be the people that you're selling your deals to, so they're technically not on your virtual team, but I already made 2 videos on how to find cash buyers and how to keep cash buyers organized previously, so be sure to go check out one of those videos after this one. Now, how are you going to find these people? Believe it or not, it's as simple as a Google search. All you gotta search up is real estate agents, realtors in this market that work with investors, investor-friendly realtors in this area. Now, if you want to take it a little bit of a step further, go ahead and go to Zillow, go to Redfin, go to Realtor.com, look at recently sold properties that you can tell an investor was involved in that transaction, whether it's a completely beat up house or a brand spanking new renovation. Get in touch with that realtor that represented the cash buyer essentially. And in terms of finding a local title company to be working with, your realtor is going to be able to help you out with that. They're closing deals on a month-to-month basis at title companies, so I can assure you that they are going to recommend a very solid title company to work with. And for those that are in attorney states and there aren't even title companies involved in real estate transactions and it's primarily just attorney to attorney, the realtor is going to be able to help you find an attorney as well. So step 1, make sure you find a realtor that you can be working with for virtual wholesaling. So now that we got the setup pretty much all out of the way and figured out, let's talk about actually getting deals and closing them out. Starting with acquiring data and lead generation, there's only 2 things that I want you to be doing in order to build your list of addresses. Virtual driving for dollars on DealMachine and pulling lists on DealMachine. Go into DealMachine, use the driving for dollars feature, go drive around an area within that market to try to build up your list of distressed houses, or simply go to DealMachine again and go to the list pulling features and go for the absentee owner list that have at least 50% equity. Now, I just want to preface, this is not the time for you to try to start finding the best wholesale data out there. No, you just need to get started, and believe it or not, most of the data that is out there on all these other websites and through the county, they're all the same. So you just need to get a list of houses and start calling. So let's talk about that now. From here, you're gonna begin cold calling these homeowners in your list so you can start sourcing all of the motivated sellers. So virtual seller conversations. This is where most people mess up. So follow this exact framework when you are virtually wholesaling. So you got your phone open, you got your laptop open, you got DealMachine ready to go to start calling these leads. Let's say somebody picks up the phone. This is how I want it to go. First, you need to source interest. It's as simple as, hey John, this is Cam. I was actually giving you a call about 123 Main Street. Yeah, just wanted to see if there was any interest in selling that in the near future. Once you have identified that the person that you're on the phone with is interested in hearing an offer or selling the property, let's go into setting the stage. Setting the stage. This is where you're gonna tell them how much time of theirs you're going to take, what the agenda, what you guys are gonna be talking about on that phone call, and what the outcome of the phone call is gonna be. Setting the stage can go like this. All right, Mr. Seller, yeah, I just want to take about 5 to 10 minutes. I just want to get a better understanding of, what the current condition of this property is, kind of what's going on. And then after this call, I can give you a call back later on to present you with that offer. Now, I don't want to get into all of the sales tactics that come with wholesale real estate. I really just want to give you the framework and the overall basis of virtual wholesaling. But setting the stage is just allowing you to relieve the sales pressure with that seller, so they're not, guessing, how much longer am I going to be on this phone call for, or what else is he going to be asking about, or what is the outcome of this call even going to be? Because if they don't know any of that stuff, they're just going to be constantly guessing what's around the next corner, and they're probably going to be giving you false answers just so they can get you off of the phone. So setting the stage is super freaking important. Now, onto motivation. Another crucial part to this framework, you need to make sure that this person that you're on the phone with has some sort of a motivation to want to get this property off their hands. So the number one question that I always start off when getting into motivation is, okay, Mr. Seller, just kind of curious, what has you thinking about wanting to sell this property? Again, I don't want to make this a whole sales spiel and sales tactics kind of video, but just understand, you need to get an understanding of the motivation on this person on why they want to sell. Maybe they're trying to retire and get out of the game of, being a landlord. Maybe it's just a vacant home that's been sitting there. Maybe, this is just a complete burden in their life. So you just need to get an overall understanding of their motivation. From there, you're gonna wanna transition to actually talking about the property itself, asking about the condition. So, Mr. Seller, are you able to bring me up to speed a little bit on what the current condition of this property is looking like? What are some things in the house that you think need some updating? Is this property just gonna be an entire full gut? Do the mechanics need to get changed out, like the electrical, the plumbing, and the HVAC system? Is the basement finished? When was the last time the roof was redone? When was the last time you've done updating throughout the property? If you did update some things in there, what was it? This is a part where I see so many beginner wholesalers overcomplicate. They think that they need to know, everything about renovating a house or the construction cost or, all of these things, when in reality, you just need to get a decent visual of what this property looks like and what some of the big ticket items are that need to be updated in that property. So if there's anything that I want you to focus on in these conversations with homeowners when talking about the condition, it's mainly the bigger ticket items, things that are gonna have a drastic change in the price that you're offering to the homeowner. Like I said, the mechanics, the roof, any exterior things that need to get changed. Does the basement need to get fully finished? Do the kitchens and bathrooms need full remodels and updating? Like I said, don't overcomplicate it, keep it simple. Just try to get a visual of what this property looks like in your head, so that you can go on to Zillow and Redfin later to see what the comparables are looking like, the as-is values. Now the next step in this framework is going to be the deal killers. This is where you're going to be pre-handling objections. This is another crucial step in the framework that you're following right now. Deal killer number one is going to be influences. This is where you're gonna be asking the seller, okay, Mr. Seller, just something that I always like to ask, is there anybody that you need to run this by first before you actually do accept an offer on this? Reason being, again, you're pre-handling objections. Let's say you were to go to make the offer and they say, oh, they need to go talk to their wife, or oh, they need to go talk to a local realtor that they value their opinion of. That is an objection. They don't need to, they're just using that as an objection to not accept your offer. So this is where you're going to pre-handle that. Deal killer number two, their timeline. Mr. Seller, how soon are you looking to accept an offer on this and get this property off of your hands? Another crucial part of this framework, because if you're going to make an offer to a homeowner and they're not even in a position to accept one and they're not ready to sell, you just shot yourself in the foot. You need to know when they are looking to sell this so you can tie down on that on the offer call and pre-handle specific objections that can come up. Oh, you give them their offer price and then they're like, oh yeah, give me a call back in 60 days when I'm ready to sell. Well, no, I pre-handled this objection on this framework, so you can't use that excuse on me, Mr. Seller. The third deal killer, I call it procrastination poison. This is where you'll ask the seller, okay, Mr. Seller, now is there anything that you kind of need to get squared away first or need to get figured out before you do move forward and sell this property? This is so you don't get hit with the objection of, okay, yeah, I just got to do, X, Y, and Z first with the house. I need to get this out of there. I need to do, talk with the tenants. I need, go over here and do this before I can accept your offer. You're going to pre-handle that objection in these deal killers. And the last deal killer is simply just going to be price. You're going to ask them, what price are they looking to sell this property for? Why do I include this in the deal killers? Well, if we're talking about a $100,000 house and they're looking for $1 million, well, that kind of kills the deal. I can't stress it enough. Deal killers is one of the most important parts of this framework. Everything in here is very important, but nobody likes getting hit with objections when you're going to make the offer. So pre-handling objections is key within this framework. Now lastly, setting the stage for the next call. Just like you set the stage at the beginning of the call, I want you to set the stage for the next call, so when they see your name on their phone pop up a few hours down the line or the next day, they already know what you're gonna be talking about. So to wrap the call up and to set the stage for the next call, all you need to say is, all right, Mr. Seller, I appreciate your time and giving me all this information. I'm just gonna take a little bit to kind of do my analysis, on this property. I'm gonna talk with, a realtor that's in the area that I do trust, that I work with all the time, that's gonna kind of run the numbers with me. And then I can give you a call back either later on today or tomorrow, and I can present you with that offer. This conversation, this framework is where you're going to get all the information you need in order to tell whether or not you have a good deal or a bad deal on your hands, or whether or not this person is ready to sell now in the near future or later down the line where you need to call them, later down the line. Now, there's 3 key points that you want to be able to get out of this conversation that you're having. Number 1, there needs to be a motivation to sell. There needs to be some sort of urgency to want to get this off their hands. Second, you need to know that they are ready to accept an offer now in the near future. Again, you don't want to be making offers if these people are not ready to accept one. And the third key point, you need to have a little bit of an understanding of what issues they are facing while trying to get this property off of their hands. The more issues that the seller tells you that they are facing trying to sell this property means that the more solutions you're able to bring to their problems, which increases your chances of getting the deal like crazy. Misconception number 1, you need to tell them that you are a virtual real estate investor. In most cases, you don't even need to bring up the fact that you are virtual or that you might be local. But if they do ask, all you simply have to say is that you're a real estate investor that does a lot of business within the area. Simple as that. Misconception number 2, you have to see the property in order to make them an offer. Take what you have from the seller, all the information that they were able to give you, and start researching the property. Look at the comps and then go make them an offer. We want to make the selling process as easy as possible for the homeowner. We want to make them feel that this is a white glove service. Now, if you run into the scenario where the seller wants to meet with somebody at the property, or in general meet with somebody, this is where you're able to lean onto that realtor that you're offering 3 to 6% on the total sale price. So utilize that realtor if it comes down to it. So now that we have those misconceptions out of the way, let's talk about how to analyze deals without ever seeing them. This is where you're going to be able to come up with an offer price to offer the seller and to get the deal signed. Step number 1, it isn't required, but it definitely can be useful, and this is a virtual tour of the property. And it doesn't need to be an actual tour with the seller on FaceTime or anything like that. Just simply ask if they have any pictures of the current condition of the property, and if they do, great. If they don't, it's completely fine. Another thing that you can do to get a visual is check realtor.com, Zillow, or Redfin, or all these other, MLS style websites online to see if there's any old listing pictures of the property. The second thing that you're gonna wanna do is actually run comparables. This is where I want you to go on to Zillow or go on to Redfin and look at, the properties that are currently listed on the market, ones that are in similar condition as the one that yours is in a very similar house. It doesn't necessarily have to be apples to apples, but if you're dealing with a 2-story home, you're probably gonna only want to be looking at 2-story homes. Again, this is another part where many beginner wholesalers completely mess up. They overcomplicate the hell out of this step when it's really simple. I wanna use the analogy of shoe resellers, people that buy and resell like hype beast shoes like Jordans and whatnot. Shoe resellers do something very similar to what we're doing for virtual wholesaling. They go online to see what are people paying for shoes in this similar condition, and they're making their offers based off of that. That is exactly what I want you to do when running your comps as well. Try to find similar style homes, and most importantly, try to find homes that are in that same exact condition as the subject property, the property that you're calling on. As you're doing this, you'll be able to see, an investor paid $100,000 for this one, another investor paid $120,000 for this one, and another investor paid, $110,000 for this one. This is gonna give you an idea of where you need to be offering. Quick rule of thumb, you want to be below what investors are paying. You wanna give yourself a spread so you can actually make money. The last part of analyzing a deal is I want you to get local verification. Get some feedback from the realtor that you're working with. Go on Google Earth and see what the outside of the property looks like. When I'm talking about local verification, I really just want you to lean on the realtor that you're working with. Reason being, they have MLS access. They're in the weeds of that market on a regular basis, doing deals all the time. They're gonna have a better idea of what this market is looking like because they're there and you're not, you're virtual. Once you have come up with an offer, it is as simple as this. Well, first, you need to make sure that they are ready to accept an offer. And then from there, you want to give the homeowner a call, walk them through what it is like to work with you in this transaction. Again, you want them to know that this is a white glove service, and then you'll simply present them with the offer. And try to get creative with your offers, try to stand out a little bit, make the seller feel heard. If they did tell you about the issues that they're facing or the problems that are occurring, try to include a solution within that offer. So, it's not just about the price, it's also about the terms that you have with that offer that you're presenting. Who knows, maybe that the seller might value, having you help them moving things out of the property so they can, sell the property faster, or whatever the case may be. Try to bring a solution to whatever problem the seller might have with that offer price as well. Once they verbally accept your offer, I want you to immediately get that contract signed on that phone call. Again, this is why it's important to walk the seller through what it's like to work with you and what next steps are if they do accept your offer, so that you can transition right into this. You're gonna place the seller on hold for a little bit, make sure that the contract is already good to go. And again, on these contracts, you're not filling out the entire thing. There's a couple blank areas that you just need to fill in, which it's really just closing date, price, inspection period, and then send it to them through DocuSign and get it signed on that call. Now, you've got the contract signed. Keep in mind, this entirety of everything that I'm showing you is all about setting the right expectations. So even though you got the contract signed, you still need to set the right expectations with the homeowner so you can actually get the deal closed. So in that contract that you signed with the homeowner, which is linked in the description of this video, make sure you go grab that. That inspection clause, the inspection period, outlines exactly how much time you have to go to the property and pretty much assess it in person. Now, obviously this isn't gonna be you, you're virtually wholesaling. So this is where the realtor is gonna be able to come into play, go to the property and also get the buyers in there as well. That inspection period isn't where you need to get a city inspector and do a real inspection on this property. No. I almost want you to think as the inspection period as the time to get buyers in the property so they can give me an offer and so I can make money. So talking about setting the right expectations with the homeowner, you just need to set the expectation of within these next few days, I need to be able to have access to the property. The better expectations that you set with the homeowner to gain access to that property, the better this deal is gonna go through. Now again, I've already made 2 videos on how to find cash buyers and how to sell a deal to a cash buyer, so that won't be included in here, but just know whether you're virtual or whether you're in person, that process doesn't change. The only thing that does is coordinating things with your buyer and with your realtor so that they can go to the property together to get into the house. Don't overcomplicate it, let's keep it simple, and now let's go into the virtual closing process. So you got the purchase and sale agreement signed with the homeowner, and now you also have the assignment contract signed with the cash buyer. With those 2 contracts, all you need to do is call the title company that your realtor recommended and let them know, hey, I have a property under contract and I would like for you guys to facilitate the closing. This is a part of the process where so many beginner wholesalers are so intimidated by for some reason, but I do get it. I mean, calling it a title company, it might have like a intimidating connotation to it, but it's a title company. Their business is them offering a service of helping you get a deal closed. So don't be intimidated by it. They want to help you get that deal closed just as bad as you do. So once you had that conversation with the title company, you let them know that you want them to facilitate the closing and pull title on it, they'll give you all the instructions you need from there on out and they'll help you get the deal closed. Once the title company has successfully pulled title and they see that everything is all checking out, they'll give you a call, they'll schedule a closing date, the buyer will wire in the funds to the title company, you guys will close it out, the title company will distribute the funds to the seller, and then they will distribute your assignment fee to you as the wholesaler. It is literally as simple as that. Now let's take this a step further. Let's assume you've gotten the hang of this and you want to start scaling. You're sick and tired of doing only 1 deal a month. You want to start doing 10 deals a month. How are you going to do it? Well, it first starts off with just taking on more volume. Wholesaling is a numbers game. So as long as you can increase the numbers and increase the volume, you're going to start seeing more deals essentially. Now, you do need the infrastructure to be able to handle more volume. So let's talk about that. First things first, I always like to start with just outsourcing marketing, the cold calling, the lead generation. Believe it or not, lead generation and cold calling is a $6 an hour position. You need to get yourself out of that $6 an hour position as soon as possible. With you outsourcing marketing, now you don't have to sit on the phone for hours cold calling and generating leads. You now have a virtual assistant who is doing all of that for you and just sending you all of the motivated sellers. Sounds nice, right? Well, it's only $6 an hour, so let's close a deal so we can get there even faster. Now that somebody else is doing the cold calling and the marketing for you, there's only 3 positions now that you need to fill. That is acquisitions, dispositions, and transaction coordination. Acquisitions, the one who is taking on the motivated sellers and making the offers and getting contracts signed. Dispositions, waiting for contracts to get signed so then you can go find buyers to sell that contract to. And lastly, transaction coordination, dealing with title companies, making sure you can communicate with the title company to get a deal scheduled and closed. In all reality, you're literally 2 wholesale deals away from being a COO of a company. Because really think about this for a second. Marketing, $6 an hour position. Acquisitions, you can pay them 10% commission and maybe a small little base. Same thing goes for dispositions, and transaction coordination is another position that can be filled for $6 an hour. It only takes maybe even 2 wholesale deals to fill all of these positions, so you're the COO of this operation. With that, you don't need to do the cold calling. You don't even need to talk to homeowners anymore. You don't even need to talk to buyers. You don't need to talk to title companies. You don't need to do any of that other than manage the people within your operation. Once you're able to do that, you literally have a fully automated real estate business that is constantly finding the #1 most transacted asset in the world, real estate. And that's exactly what my wholesale business looks like today. Look, guys, I just gave you the exact blueprint we use to close deals virtually. And it isn't just me and my business partner, our students are also crushing it too. Charlie and Gabe, these 2 21-year-old kids just closed out a wholesale deal for $388,000. That's just about 4 times the size of my biggest wholesale deal. deal. Mr. Anthony Smith, aka Tony, closing out a $30,000 deal. And here's Ezekiel, the one who beat everybody in the community to the closing table. He was the first one to close a deal in 2025, and he made $45,000. All of these guys are inside of our community and program, Shot Caller's Inner Circle. If you're somebody who's struggling to close their first deal, or you simply just want help scaling this into a real business, you can click the link in the description to learn more. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I love you guys.